Most teams in Ranked are super easy to read, and you can predict what they'll do the very next round. So how do you make sure your team doesn't fall into this flaw? Welcome back to Esports Driven, and today we'll go through 10 tips and ideas to be totally unpredictable and dominate your opponents. Being proactive with your teammates will be super annoying and difficult to play against on both attack and defense, especially on defense where you can set the pace of the round by trying uncommon strategies. First, let's talk about the easiest one, stacking a site. If you just destroyed the attacker's push on B last round, there is a high chance that they'll try to go A the next round. If you feel like it could be the case, tell your teammates to stack more towards A and play B for retake. We recommend you have a sentinel utility or a player on the opposite site getting information if the teams are rotating back to B. This strategy is super powerful during save rounds. If the attacker runs into your stack, you'll be able to trade each other and win the round even with cheaper weapons. But if they figure out that you were stacking and decide to rotate back to B, you'll have a player there that they won't expect at all. Who said the attackers are the only ones to push the enemy team? As defenders, aggressively pushing the attackers can result in easy kills, as most players aren't used to this sort of aggression from defenders. The best example of this strat is on Fracture, where pro teams really like to pinch the dish arcade area, resulting in an elimination of multiple enemies. Getting aggressive on defense will only work if you have good coordination and planning with your teammates. Most of the time, we recommend having at least 3 players to be able to deal with 4 or 5 attackers. Flashes and stuns will greatly help you do this, as the attackers won't be able to react in time to avoid them. Of course, don't repeat this trick more than 2 or 3 times during the half, as the attackers will start to expect it. Bait plays are another type of super powerful traps that you can set up for your enemies. Get a teammate to grab the attention of the attackers and capitalize it to crush everyone. This bait play in Hookah is a super good example. We have the Neon baiting for his teammate who's hiding in the corner and successfully stops the attackers with a nice 4K. You can set up bait plays on every map. Try to figure some out with your duo partner. Like the last 2 tips, we recommend you try them out in eco rounds, as they'll help you convert these thrifty situations into round wins. When things don't go your way on defense, you should try to switch the sites your team is holding. For example, if you play Cypher or Killjoy and the enemies win just by avoiding your site, ask a teammate to switch. It applies to any agent, as defending your defense setup will help you surprise the attackers. Don't be this Sova throwing his reveal at the same wall every single round. Go and take mid information next time. When your team doesn't have a dedicated operator agent such as Jet or Chamber and you have enough money to buy one, you should try it. Of course, it won't be optimal, but you will get the element of surprise simply because no one is ever going to expect a Viper or a Killjoy to hold an angle with a sniper. They will blindly run into your crosshair, resulting in super easy kills. Plus, any abilities capable of cutting the line of sight will help you to reposition safely after taking a shot. Try to get creative with it and don't simply follow the normal list of agents who can abuse this gun. Successful teams like Team Liquid make this strategy work, as Yampi is super comfortable with the operator whether he plays Sova, Omen, or Chamber. Attacking can sometimes feel difficult given that you only use 3 different strategies, A, B, or mid, and most people rarely utilize mid properly, which can become very predictable, especially in the higher ranks. Dictating and switching the pace of the rounds is a super effective way to get the upper hand over your opponents. Going for fast rushes every time won't work if the enemies have a basic understanding of the game, as they will adapt to it and find ways to counter you. Instead, you should alternate between explosive, fast plays and slow rounds where you just hold for any defensive aggression. This is a playstyle that the best teams in the world master, but you can do it too in your own games. For example, conditioning the defenders to a super slow-paced play in the first few rounds and deciding to do a 5-man rush the very next round. You will catch them off guard most of the time. In Valorant, the default strategy is a super important tool to use and understand. Basically, it means to spread your team across the map in order to gather information and to prevent the enemy team from knowing what bomb site you're going to attack. You can use your Sova Arrow, your Skywolf, or Cypher camera to understand where each agent is playing and then decide which site is the easiest to push. Plus, the silence of slow rounds often pushes defenders to make mistakes as they need to get information about where you plan to execute. This is a basic but still somewhat complex strategy. We'll make guides on defaulting on every map in the future. Mid is a key area to gain map control in order to execute simple but effective strategies. Weirdly, this is sometimes a place where attackers don't want to invest utility in and rather rush the bomb sites. Splitting executes through mid and main is always extremely powerful. Ascent is a great example where you can execute Garden and A main by simply smoking bottom mid, denying information that could reveal your strategy. On Breeze B site, try to split your execute through the tunnel. It will completely destroy anyone playing on site as they won't be able to deal with people coming from main and mid at the same time. What does play contact actually mean? Well, it's quite simple but still super effective. It consists of your team walking silently until you find contact with an enemy and then fully explode into the site. For example, contacting the A site on Haven if there's no operator posted there is extremely powerful because the defenders won't expect you at all, given that you didn't make any sound cue. Be careful though, as operators will counter this strategy. You should only play contact when you know there's no one playing this gun here. Even super basic fake strategies are disorienting for the defenders. Tell your team to smoke and drone the A site while you simply play contact in B. This simple strat will get you free kills on defenders who don't expect it. Fake strategies go from super easy setups like this one to complicated and multi-layered strategies. We strongly recommend you watch pro play to get an idea of what is possible and how the best teams in the world trick their opponents. An example of this is the amazing fake strat Xerxia did on Icebox during Champions. We've created a separate video breaking it down piece by piece. You can check it out by clicking the video on screen. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed our content, and we'll catch you next time.